In the last 5 years, the world's seen more populist leaders elected than at any time since the 1930s. We know that left-wing populist leaders have really predictable negative effects on business and the economy. And so I was interested in this new spate of right-wing populist leaders who are running on pro-business platforms. Were they actually good for business? Did they help their economies? And what could we say about how they interacted with populism, business, and the economy? What we found was surprising to me. It was that the right-wing populist leaders, just like the left-wing, had very predictable and quite negative effects on the economy. They tended to create a drag on GDP. They tended to increase inflation. They tended to increase debt-to-GDP ratios. And then they had all these secondary effects on reducing social trust, which caused reduced entrepreneurship and reduced GDP, greater polarization, and so on. When we looked at the why behind this, we found that the way that populists govern has really negative effects on how businesses can function, because populists follow a common playbook. Whether they're populist because they are just naturally this way or whether they've adopted it as a strategy, populists create an us and a them. They create wedges and divisions between society, and they run to create an intense base on those wedges and divisions. By doing that, they polarize society, and then they declare themselves the representatives of the us and make themselves kind of the personal avatar of that group of people. By doing that, they claim that their will is the same as the will of the people and shouldn't be constrained by normal governing institutions and checks and balances and so on. And what you see is very quickly a reduction in the quality of institutions. You see the journalists and the press become less free, less good information, less good statistical information, lots of attempts to manipulate statistics on everything from unemployment to GDP to consumer expenditure. And all of these things together, combined with reprisals and creating of social friction, create a much more negative, more difficult environment for business where there's a lot more volatility, a lot more unpredictability, and generally a negative GDP effect over time after a very short honeymoon period. To learn more, you can go to the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace website and look up my name, Rachel Kleinfeld, or the paper, How Does Business Fare Under Populism?